Welcome to my movie. This movie needs to be seen by everyone. The people in the movie will be in the credits. After you watch it, share. Not just Americans either. If you don't share and watch this now, people will die. Only a Zionist wouldn't share.
For this president is like putting makeup on a melanoma. Not only unsightly, but it's dangerous. I'd see that everybody's a hypocrite because everybody's imagined themselves standing there with his head. You know, we're in a tough spot. It's a very, very divided world.
We are standing here in New York City, Manhattan, while Nefesh B'Nefesh, the pro-Israeli organization promoting mass immigration to Israel, is hosting an event here just across the street. This is embarrassing to us as Jews when these Zionist, pro-Zionist events are happening supposedly in the name of all Jews. This is not representing all Jews. Masses of Jewish people here in New York City, in the United States of America, in occupied Palestine, and the world over, oppose Zionism, the state of Israel, and all criminal actions it is taking. This occupation, not only recently, but over 77 years, it's against God and against the Jewish religion. It's illegal and it's against humanity. People are waking up and realizing, understanding that the movement of Zionism is totally wrong. This is exactly what is supposed to happen, and we are here to raise the awareness and have people understand that this is wrong, and in no way does it represent the Jewish people or the Jewish religion. We have this movement of Zionism misusing our people, hijacking my identity, hijacking my religion. People need to wake up. And people need to realize that we need to do everything we can to stop this evil, to stop this rebellion against God.
Years ago, before Islam, before Palestine was an idea, Jews and Persians loved each other. And the kingdom of Judah was occupied by the Babylonians. The people who helped them were the Persian Empire led by King Cyrus the Great. He issued the Edict of Cyrus, allowing the Jews to return back to their homeland. You know, the idea of return to Zion, Zionism, was born there. And if you jump 1,000 years later to the 7th century CE, again a bit before the rise of Islam, the Persians helped the Jews again. There was a Heraclius revolt where the Persian Empire fought against the Byzantine Empire that then occupied the land of Israel. And the Persians allowed the Jews to restore their independence in Jerusalem. But we don't need to go that far. Even 50 years ago, the current regime that is killing the Iranians is a tiny stain on more than 2,000 years of a bond between the Jews and the Persians. And as a Jewish Israeli, what I want to tell the people of Iran is that we love you and we hope that nightmare that you're in will end quickly.
Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man. They say you're running free. Strange things that happen to you, stranger will you be. We met and lived, night in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? And call, not for this
They're like, you know, like, why are you calling in so much? And I was like, well, you know, around the beginning of the year, I was pretty sick, so I blew through all my sick time. And also, the world is a pedophilic sex cult ran by billionaire cannibals who sacrifice babies and sell missing children on Wayfair under the guise of expensive cabinetry sets and fridges. And also, this has been happening for a very long time, and they sacrifice babies to the old gods, and they dance around covered in the blood of dead babies, and they refer to abhorrent acts against children as pizza, and they really like it, and they send videos to each other through email like they're just having a little gag, and this has been happening for longer than I care to, you know, go into. And also the people that are supposed to protect us from these kind of abhorrent acts are part of it, and so they're only just showing us the files, not actually doing anything about it, because 0 arrests have been made, and our entire country is, you know, probably going to be going into an internal war conflict because there's a personal militia ran by the most powerful man in the world, and especially this country, because he's been mentioned in the files that are being released more than 38,000 times, which is more than Jesus was mentioned in the Bible, and Harry Potter was mentioned in all 7 books in the series combined.
Are you coming to the tree?
Not going to arrest themselves. They're not going to hold themselves accountable, okay? Which means the people are going to have to do it. But the people can't do it when they're divided between party lines, or I'm a Republican or a Democrat, or I'm gay or I'm straight or I'm black or I'm white. Hence the reason for the division that they pump in our faces all the time. So until this is understood And this is what it's going to take. It's going to take the men of America putting differences aside and saying, I am not okay with our government using torture and blackmail and murder and molestation and leverage of people or children or women to rule over us any longer. And until the men of America can come together on that, nothing will change. Nothing will change, okay? The men need to come together. Their women need to handle the leftist women who are at brunch with their pinkies up, who have no fucking idea what they're talking about. And we need to get unified. And that's how accountability will be had.
To every single American. Oh, by law. By law! They were supposed to do this by law. They broke the law. Law. The law doesn't fucking exist! The law doesn't fucking exist in America, everybody! Every single member of the government is a criminal! And we keep expecting the criminals to hold the other criminals accountable! When the fucking dictator in charge can ignore the courts, law doesn't exist! When every system of checks and balances we had fails because nobody's being held accountable, law doesn't exist! Stop screaming about what is legally required! Nobody fucking cares! The only way this stops is if the people listen to the Constitution and overthrow tyranny! Revolution!
Did you know that you're actually living through an apocalypse right now? Not necessarily one for humans yet, but a lot of people think it'll lead to one. Depending on how old you are, you might have noticed that in the last 10 to 15 years, there's been a lot less insects. And that's actually supported by science. There's some evidence that insect biomass on Earth has decreased by 75% over the last 30 years, which might be nice like bug bite wise, but is actually really bad in terms of pollination and food supply for the rest of the food chain. This is mostly due to light pollution and pesticides. So when people ask like when the apocalypse will start or whatever, the most likely answer is honestly that probably already has.
Judea, Palestine, or the Holy Land. The country received the name of Palestine. The climate of Palestine. Bush is the name written in the front of that Freemason Bible.
There's something going on with the last known holder being a Bush. They look almost identical.
I didn't even notice that. Where'd you get these, homie?
It was a thrift store.
VW Bush?
It might be Dubs. Literally a thrift store. Just the guy put them up there. He didn't have any price tag or nothing.
Why did they say they were bad? Were they bad? Judea, Palestine, or the Holy Land. Palestine, anciently called Phoenicia. The ancient Phoenicians, anybody know anything about them? The country received the name of Palestine from the Philistines, who dwelt on the sea coast. David killed Goliath, who was a Philistine. The Phoenicians were sea-dwelling people. They were the seafarers. It was called Judea from Judah. It is termed the Holy Land, being the country where Jesus Christ was born. It's situated between 31 and 33 degrees 40 minutes north latitude. 31 and 33 degrees? Does that ring any fucking bells? It's talking about Palestine everywhere. The climate of Palestine just says Judah, called it Judea. Judah was one of the 12 tribes of Israel. This old Bible was printed in 1812. It was found discarded in a dumpster in Aiken, South Carolina, along with a trove of documents. 1812, but the first name is 1797. This is a color map of Palestine, aka the Holy Land.
We are not mad enough about this. 2 days ago, I posted a video showcasing emails from the Epstein files indicating a clear, undeniable plan to manipulate the hormones of the American public to feminize men. I don't think people realize how scary that is. Your hormones are who you are as a person. Whether you're funny, confident, passionate, whatever, all of it is from your hormones. And what bothers me the most is how well they're succeeding. The average 20-year-old male today is biologically closer to a woman from the 1970s than they are a man. In the 70s, the average guy in their 20s had a testosterone level of 750 nanograms per deciliter. Today, that number is 350 for guys in their 20s. The average woman's testosterone was 50. We're literally closer to chicks of that time than we are the men of that time. This attack on our hormones is led by two major factors in our everyday life. The first is in our farming. All of our fruits and vegetables are sprayed with a chemical called atrazine. The chemical famously known for its ability to turn male frogs gay. It does the same thing in humans. It's proven to be pumping us full of xenoestrogens and blocking our testosterone. The EPA denies these claims and keeps it completely legal chemical, and it's sprayed on almost all of the produce that we eat in the United States. The main financer of these projects being none other than Bill Gates, the man publicly trying to reduce the population as well as frequent Epstein Island enjoyer. Second leader in the attack is Forever Chemicals, specifically found in plastic packaging. They're called PFAS, and they're in almost all of the plastic packaging for all of our food. These chemicals are manufactured by a company called DuPont. Coincidentally, all of the JP Morgan Chase bankers that finance this company are also all well documented in the Epstein files. They appear frequently. It's starting to make sense why doctors aren't taught hormones in medical school, and if you ever try to ask about them, you're gonna get looked at like a crazy person. If I was gonna attack the American public using hormones, I'd also make it pretty difficult to learn anything about them.
Planetary polar reversal is going to reverse your gravity, and Trump and all them are talking about going back to 1980. You don't have to go anywhere to be able to do that. So if you have more energy than you have anti-energy, you will move forward. If you have more anti-energy than you have energy, you will move backwards, which Einstein identified as the speed of light. Listen, folks, this is not difficult. You've been lied to your entire life. You have no concept of how bad you've been lied to. What is that? Well, it's space-time. Now you don't have to have the time to move. You just poof, instantaneous. You invert the polarity at the right time, and guess what? You just went backwards. It's not that time travel is not possible. They tell you everything in your movies. You're the ones not listening. You need to wake up. They told you in your movies. Marvel, Thanos. He got a gauntlet. Put all them stones in there. He can manipulate space-time. Doctor Strange. Darmok, the go-to loop in time. Boom. Everybody turn to fucking dust. Are you goddamn getting it yet? Does anybody know who has that Tesla device? Because I know what it's doing, and I would really like to save humanity. Who has that device? I need a name. I can't find it online. I'm not talking about any fucking doctors in association with this damn thing, but I've seen Mandela effects. You know nothing. They are telling you in your movies reality, but they told you it was sci-fi and made up. Bullshit. It's real, and you take your head out of your ass. Ask around. Look, help me find out who has that device that was found under Tesla's lab in that fire in 2023. That's when everything started shifting around. That's when shit really got crazy. They think it's making electricity. No, it's not. And it's producing a plasmatic force state of energy called piezoetheric energy as a byproduct, as they're fucking with time and space and relativity. Somebody, please, if anybody knows of any way to get a hold of whomever has that or whatever, please let me know.
Trigger warning on this video. What I'm about to read you guys is extremely graphic, and it's one of those FBI intake forms that people were able to 90% unredact. It's extremely graphic. When I was 6 to 8 years old, living at Redacted in Surrey, UK, I was drugged at night and driven by my father, Redacted, to pedophile ring parties. The main house I was taken to is located behind Thorpe Green at the end of a private road. Hurst Farm Livery Stables is next door. In the driveway of this house, I was hit by a dark blue car with a personalized license plate ending in D0Y, driven by Prince Andrew. I was not taken to the hospital, but I suffered permanent injuries to my ribs, hip, and leg on my right side. The car's hood figuring broke off in my hand on impact and later buried it near my home so it could be recoverable as evidence. After I was hit by the car, I woke up to Prince Andrew forcing his mouth on mine and pushing my legs apart. He raped me in that house. I was also sexually tortured with household tools and penetrated with a beer bottle. I have medical records of the resulting infection. I once ran away from the house naked and made it to the Irish traveler community down the road, and then she lists GPS coordinates. I remember seeing and speaking to a man, so I think that there may be Irish travelers living in the area who could corroborate what goes on there. I was also taken to another house that I later recognized as Frogmore Cottage when its refurbishment was in the news in 2018. I was restrained on a table and tortured with electrical shocks by Ghislaine Maxwell and surrounded by watching men. I remember seeing Prince Andrew's face after being raped by another man there. I tried to sneak out. Maxwell caught me and beat me with the bristle end of a broom. She penetrated my vagina with the handle of the broom. She also threatened me, saying that I deserved to die. and hit me in the face with the broom, breaking my nose. I was only taken to the hospital for the broken nose after a rugby match so that the injury could be blamed on that.
The President of the United States has just announced that he's cutting off all federal funding to blue states. This would be the collapse of the United States of America if he is not prevented from doing this. This is an illegal seizure of spending power. This is a collapse of federalism, and it is a constitutional coup. Infrastructure in states will come to a screeching halt, so construction workers will lose their jobs in mass. Road projects will end. Transit projects will end. Medicaid care will be shut off. Hospitals will close. Nurses and doctors won't get paid, and nursing care facilities will shutter. School lunches, food assistance, public workers, and state budgets will completely collapse. This will cause the loss of life and irreparable harm to children, to the elderly, to veterans, to working families all across this country. And we will officially be an authoritarian government. Our Constitution will be null and void. This is serious, and we should take it serious. Congress needs to act now. Democrats and Republicans. He is destroying the United States of America as we know it.
Not giving these people consequences. Not a single person is in jail except for Ghislaine, which, interesting because she's the only woman, but I digress. They are seeing that there are no consequences to snuff films of children, to eating babies, to forcing kids to have babies so they can sacrifice them and drink their blood, give offerings to demons from biblical times in control of earth. Do you understand? There are no consequences. We are doing nothing. So they're just going to get stronger. They have no respect for us at all.
They want to force everybody to use a passport inside their own country because that way the only valid passports will end up being owned by Republicans. That's what this whole voting registration bullshit's all about. They want to make sure that they can choose that only their people are the ones with valid ID. That's how this goes, okay? If a passport's the only form of acceptable ID for you to be able to vote, guess who controls the passports? Marco Rubio. Guess who sits at the right hand of Donald Trump, right on that couch, right next to J.D. Vance and his stain? It's Marco Rubio. He's sitting right there. He's the Secretary of State. Secretary of State's in charge of passports. Secretary of State can go over to a switch on a board and just go ahead and mark that every single Democrat in this country has an invalid passport. That's how that goes, and that's how that will go the second you let them do this. The fact that people can't see this is driving me freaking insane. We had Elon Musk and Doge came in at the beginning of this administration and they stole everybody's piece of data. They go ahead and run all that inside of Palantir. They put all that together with your social media. They take the Palantir data, they take the Doge data, and then they want to put it next to the voter roll data. They've been going state to state demanding the voter registration data. They even said that in Minnesota. They said, we'll pull ICE out of Minnesota. Give us all the voter rolls. Do you guys not see the end game here? The end game here is to make sure that when you go vote, that you have to go hand them a passport. And they'll take that passport and they'll scan it. And then suddenly it's going to come up that your passport was stolen. Your passport's invalid. We have questions about your passport. And then, oh, look at that. Suddenly on election day, because we're only going to allow people to vote in person at election day at those exact polling places for voter safety bullshit. Suddenly, all these people are going to get turned away from the polls. Suddenly, all these people aren't going to be able to go vote and have their voices heard and actually be able to choose a legitimate government because all these people are going to be declared individually themselves as illegitimate. And when you say to me, how can you think that this would even happen? And what's the possibility? What's the precedent for this? Oh, I don't know. The story of black people in the South from 1865 to 1965. How do you not know that everything they're trying to do is an exact fucking thing that they did to black people for 100 fucking years in front of everybody's goddamn eyes, and to the point we had to send the military down there to actually make sure that some votes got counted, and that shit's still getting cooked. That shit's still getting rocked by the same exact Supreme Court that has been installed by the same exact illegitimate government. Over and over and over again, we got to sit through this bullshit time and time again to learn the same exact lessons that y'all wouldn't have to fucking relive if you would just read one fucking book.
Hey, just a little FYI, just to keep my butt safe. You see the happy face? It's a little hard for me to wear that nowadays, and especially with fucking Satan running the show. But if I ever die or disappear, I was not sick. I don't have cancer. I make sure that I look both ways before I cross the road. And I'm not suicidal. I love my family. I'd never leave them. And if I just disappear or I die out of the blue for some reason, I want everybody to just share the fuck out of my stuff. When it's as big as the whole fucking world being under Satan's control, people want to shut you up. If we don't speak out and make everybody aware of what's going on, The next thing we'll know, we'll have ICE detention centers all over, one in every state. And the ICE detention centers will be slaughtering people and burning them in big furnaces. If I disappear, something happens to me, share the fuck out of that shit.
The reason The Simpsons knew so much is because they were on the Epstein list.
He ain't predicting the future, nigga. He ain't a sidekick, nigga. Nigga, he in the group chat. Nigga, he in the group chat, nigga.
That's how he knew so much.
He knew it. Nigga, they talking about these. All this shit is planned and orchestrated. You know what I noticed? Conspiracy theorists are only conspiracy theorists, nigga. Till the fucking truth come out, nigga. These motherfuckers been hitting that bitch on the noggin all day long, nigga. Nigga, I feel like goddamn Sherlock Holmes, nigga. I've been saying this fuck nigga was a part of them. Ain't no fucking way you just guessing the Twin Towers getting blown up and putting it into a cartoon gang.
Stay
You
weird.
in a motherfucking group chat.
This is absolutely wild. You have to see this visualization that Trump in 1 year has gained 75 times more wealth than all presidents in the past century, in 100 years.
A small stack over here to start with. This is a representation of a full century of U.S. presidents' personal wealth growth while they were in office. We're talking Coolidge, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Reagan, Bush, Biden, all of them except one. 4 cups, roughly $40 million in total, and that's what all the modern presidents combined gained while serving over an entire century. Total, not per president. Now shift your eyes to this monstrosity. 1 year, 1 president, same cups, same scale. 1 century versus 1 year. Shows you the $3 billion of net wealth gained in 1 year while serving as president. It doesn't offset the billions quietly being accumulated elsewhere. If you're telling yourself it's because he's a good businessman, then ask one question. If nearly 50 years in business didn't produce anything close to this, but 1 year in public office did, that's not skill, that's corruption.
Let me tell y'all something. Y'all mad that these immigrants are coming over here and taking y'all's jobs. Somebody's coming over here from another country and they're taking their jobs. Nah, they coming over here and guess what? You're already established here in this great country of the United States. You already established here. So technically you have every right. You can do whatever you wanted to do, but you don't. Fucking lazy asses. And you ain't got shit. You ain't never gonna have shit because you don't want to do shit because you fucking lazy. They coming over here with nothing and they making something happen.
Epstein's parties and the files are a distraction. They weren't partying, they were worshiping something. Why is not a single person talking about the fact that on Epstein Island there is a temple used to worship Moloch? Out of all the demons in existence, this is the most disgusting one by a landslide. More people need to be aware of this because this is what's really happening behind closed doors. This is what's actually happening. Moloch is the demon that specializes in child sacrifice, and this is what these elites are all worshiping. They've been flying out to this island, getting together with their parties, going inside of this temple and performing rituals involved in what I just explained. Moloch is the demon of the bull. That's the image it represents, and I want you guys to really understand this. People in Israel have been worshiping Moloch forever. It's talked about even in Leviticus 18:21. Let me clarify. It has been happening so long that it is even mentioned in the Bible, and the Bible tells us not to sacrifice or give children to Moloch. This is how common it is and how long it's been happening. Every time the curtain gets pulled back on these elites, it's the same story. The Epstein files just confirm it. There's always some kind of ritual, some kind of sacrifice at the center of it all. But why? Why are they obsessed with Moloch and child sacrifice? The reason you don't know is because these people have every reason to keep it hidden. They have the money, the influence, and the connections to suppress anything that exposes them. You're not going to find it easily, and that's the whole point. These rituals aren't just some random dark hobby. These rituals are deeply spiritual. We're talking ancient biblical level practices that go back thousands of years. The only place that ever documented what these people do is in the oldest religious texts to ever exist. And that's exactly where they don't want you looking. They removed the ancient texts that reveal everything about these practices. 22 books deliberately stripped from the Bible you grew up reading. Your Bible is censored, and it doesn't include some of the most important books like Enoch on Jubilees. They're all ripped out. Now think about that and ask yourself, why did they actively hunt down these books and erase them? You see, these missing books told the full Full story of the Watchers. 200 of them lusted after human woman, and God banished them to earth, where they corrupted the bloodline of mankind. They took human women as wives and had children called the Nephilim. These Nephilim were hybrids, giants, beings that were never supposed to exist. And when God sent the flood, their physical bodies were destroyed, but their spirits didn't leave. They couldn't, because they were hybrids, not fully human, not fully angel. But the Watchers didn't just breed with humans, they taught them forbidden knowledge. They taught humanity forbidden knowledge, weapons of war, sorcery, how to manipulate and control entire civilizations. Secret knowledge passed down through groups generation after generation. But this wasn't random knowledge they taught. These books explained that this knowledge came with a bloody price. They required rituals, sacrifices, ceremonies, and blood offerings to be performed in exchange for power. These missing books explain that the offspring of these fallen angels would become the wicked people in power, the ones who make the rules, the ones at the top of the pyramid, that they would try to control every part of human life, that they would deceive the nations into fighting each other, that they would set traps for anyone who follows the true God silently. The 22 books they stripped expose everything. The same practices being uncovered in courtrooms and leaked documents right now were described in detail in books written thousands of years ago. And one book in particular says something that should send chills down your spine. The Book of Enoch warns, "They will lead many astray, and the truth will be hidden from the children of men." They gave you a censored version so that you cannot weaponize yourself with knowledge. But here's where it all falls apart for them. God's truth always has a way of surviving. One country held on to the books they took out. The only Christian nation never conquered by a foreign power. The only nation that claims to guard the Ark of the Covenant till this day. The nation with the oldest Bible in existence, Ethiopia. While the elites were burning books, Ethiopia was preserving them. While they were deciding what you could read, Ethiopia was guarding them in remote monasteries, passing them down for 2,000 years. These people didn't care about money or power. They could not be bribed or threatened. They only cared about the truth. And it left them with 88 books instead of the 66 we have today. 22 extra books that the elites ripped out. The Dead Sea Scrolls confirmed what they tried to hide. Ethiopia preserved what they tried to destroy. Now here's the problem. The people at the top don't want this information spreading. Every time information like this starts spreading, it gets pulled. They've already spent centuries keeping information buried, and big publishers won't print the real Ethiopian Bible. They print watered down versions with books still missing, or they translate it in ways that hide the truth.
Elon Musk, this was announced January 1st, by the way, is planning on high volume implant production, the Neuralink brain implantable microchip. High volume production starting this year. And he also wants the surgery to be automated. So it would be AI installing AI into humans. Now the question is this beneficial for us? Or is it part of an agenda and basically the mark of the beast? Well, I wouldn't say it's the mark of the beast yet, because that requires it to be, you cannot buy or sell without it. And I'm pretty sure in 2026, if you get the brain implant, or if you don't have it, you'll still be able to buy and sell. But is this the start of something? And now here's the crazy part. If you go to Greek beta code, which is an alphanumerical way to go to, you type in words in English and it calculates it into a number. And this goes back thousands of years. Neuralink equals 666. So is that a coincidence? You have to ask yourself. I personally believe that a decalcified pineal gland is the original organic Neuralink, because it connects you to the natural world and the divine frequencies that exist all around us, not freaking Wi-Fi. It will sell it to you as making you superhuman, but in fact, it would make you inhuman. Why is it that they push so hard for everything synthetic, focusing on brain implantable microchips instead of our food supply? And while fertility rates are off a cliff?
The reason that everybody's deleting the TikTok app is because, number one, it's owned by a man named Larry Ellison. Larry Ellison owns a company called Oracle, which is responsible for providing AI surveillance to IDF soldiers and ICE agents. If you don't know what the IDF is, it's the Israeli Defense Forces. Globally, they are being accused of committing a genocide against the Palestinian people. And to date, we're at roughly somewhere around like 700,000 Palestinians dead. Okay? ICE agents are using their AI surveillance software illegally so that they can target leftists and legal migrants. They're now admitting that their directive is to detain legal migrants to expedite the court process, okay? We also know that they're using it to target leftists because the Department of Justice is now going state to state in blue states and demanding voter registration information. And if the state does not comply, then they deploy ICE agents to it. So ICE agents aren't about immigration. They're about terrorizing any state that didn't vote for Trump. And inevitably, they are going to be hunting down non-Trump supporters. They want Trump loyalists in the country. The situation is very critical, and the same person who owns Oracle, the AI surveillance company that provides software to ICE and IDF, also owns TikTok, and recently they've completely taken over, eliminating free speech, and they have cut the United States off from the rest of the world. So people on the TikTok app can no longer view content creators in the United States. Now, the person who is responsible for their anti-bullying and anti-harassment policies is a former IDF soldier. It's an Israeli Zionist, and they are now pumping TikTok chock full of pro-Zionist propaganda and pro-Trump propaganda. So in all transparency, TikTok is being used, A, to spy on you, and B, to propagate and brainwash you towards the Trump administration and supporting Israeli Zionism. That's why a lot of people are deleting this app. Noticed a ton of technical difficulties, the inability to post, or low views or no views for that matter. That is because the new algorithm is geared only towards pro-Zionist and pro-Trump content. And also, you no longer have a global stage via TikTok. We are completely blacked out from the rest of the world in way of TikTok on social media. This is why everybody is doing a mass exodus of TikTok. I want every single man who has foot on American soil at present to please explain to me, why aren't they fucking dead? Why aren't they dead? No, I'm not elaborating on who, bitch. You know who the fuck I'm talking about. Why aren't they dead? It's all men doing it, men at the epicenter of it, for men's pleasure, men's entertainment. If there's a woman participating, it's because she's protecting a fucking man. She's enabling a man. She's doing it for a fucking man. So please explain to me as men, why aren't they dead yet? And I don't give a fuck if you're, like, I'm not speaking specifically to these fake ass alpha male macho men who drank all that red pill Kool-Aid about being a fucking protector and provider, or the Second Amendment enthusiasts, you know, the fake men of the United States of America. I'm also talking to the libertarians. I'm talking to the liberals. I'm talking to the I Defend Democracy. I'm talking to the immigrants, the in my country ass men. I'm talking to all men as a fundamental whole. Your job in society is to protect and provide young, old, gay, straight, white, black, immigrant, native. I don't fucking care. Why aren't they dead? We know where they live. You know who they are. There is an entire fucking list dedicated to why aren't they fucking dead? Why are you mulling over the details? Why are women online enraged and children afraid to go to fucking school? Why aren't they dead? Yes, I fucking hold men accountable for this shit. It's y'all doing it. You enabled it. You drank the Kool-Aid. I don't care what role you thought you played. I don't care what side of the fence you thought you were fucking on. I don't care how mad you are that you found out that they lied to you, or if you knew all along. I don't fucking care. Front and center. Explain to me, because you're going to have to answer to history and the rest of the fucking world. They're going to look at you. They're going to look at you, and they're going to ask you, why the fuck aren't they dead?
What's the scariest thing you ever did, guys? I got in a fight with my old lady, and I went looking for Nazi shit. Oh shit, look at that old elevator. Holy shit, bro. That's fucking awesome, bro. Look at this shit. Ain't that fucking badass? 500 pounds, I better not get in that motherfucker. Oh, that's a way out. Yeah, you can get out right there. It has a little hatch up there, and it goes outside. Look at that old furnace, dude. Look how big that thing is. Wow, dude. Motherfucker's huge. It's like they were trying to keep out something evil. Look at that. There's a doorway right there. It's all boarded off. Oh shit. I found some Nazi stuff.
I think that was just taggers, though.
You guys to pay attention because it's officially time to leave the fucking United States of America. With TikTok recently cutting off access to the whole world to see American content, are shutting us out from the world, and they are building concentration camps on American soil. Look up Indiana House Bill 1119. Taxes that Americans paid, $506 billion of it are completely fucking gone, on top of the other $178 billion going to ICE, on top of $33 billion going to Israel, and then another $13 billion, and then another $35 billion, right? These people have potentially extorted trillions of dollars in the past year alone from taxpayers, okay? Laundering American tax dollars out of the United States and into Israel through the Department of Defense and executive orders like the big beautiful bill. These American-made billionaires are simultaneously laying you off of work and overcharging you for goods and services that they manufacture in China for pennies on the dollar, stimulating their socialist or communist economy while convincing you that socialism and communism are fucking bad. Every single one of them is getting a tax break while they cut social safety nets and launder money through the Department of Defense. It is all going to Israel. Every single American-made billionaire, by way of capitalism, that is laying off your jobs, overcharging you for service, not paying any taxes, and laundering your tax dollars by cutting social safety nets and extorting the Department of Defense, is on the fucking Epstein list. Israel is not a state of Judaism. It is a state of Satanism. These people are not Jewish, nor should they lead you to be anti-Semitic or hateful towards Jews. They are fucking Satanists through and through. They worship greed, money, sex, and murder. Terror and bloodlust.
Realize the world is run by psychopathic pedophiles and that everything is fake, staged, and that nothing is what you were told it was. All about fighting the system. You want to expose it, protest against it, shout about it. It includes marches, arguments, and trying to wake people up. The mindset of this phase is anger, which at this stage is necessary because it creates action. This is when things shift. You realize the system itself is neutral and can be used for good or bad. It's basically just a big game, and everyone is playing it, whether they know it or not. Don't get rid of darkness by fighting it. You just turn the light on.
You've made it to the bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole. Pay close attention. Jeffrey Epstein was on the board of directors for an organization called the Lifeboat Foundation. The Lifeboat Foundation builds giant underground cities. So you got an organization that is doing wireless money transfers that are untraceable, large sums of money, and they're building giant underground infrastructures.
So we have built an extraordinary number of underground bases and supposedly transportation systems. Some of these are documented as part of the national security infrastructure. I think there are many more.
In the United States?
In the United States, and all over the world. This is totally a guess of how many underground bases, both underground in the United States, but also underground under the ocean around the United States. And our estimate was 170.
And what would be the purpose?
If you thought you were going to get a near extinction event,
I got past the initial shock of them like sacrificing infant babies that they ripped from the wombs of their rape victims they bought at auction, you know, eating babies and drinking baby blood. Now things like the genocide in Palestine make sense, but it's really hard to not harbor hate and malice in my heart, to not be anti-Semitic, because how they specifically want white non-Jewish victims, like they can't be Jewish, or how they talk about Jewish people, that Jeffrey Epstein is the creator of Bitcoin, that he directly attacked the American economy, that he's definitely a Mossad agent, that him and Netanyahu were trading torture videos of young, like 4, 5, 6-year-old Christian white little girls from the United States. And then you still have these staunch Trump supporters talking about Israel as God's people. We have to keep sending them money. That not only did these people know full and well what the fuck they were doing, they enjoyed every goddamn minute of doing it. Hot and bothered because everybody thinks that the Epstein files is just some prolific pedophilia ring or some Satanist fucking cult. But when you look at the rhetoric all laced through it, when you look at how much it revealed, they're behind Bitcoin, they're behind the manosphere, they're behind the feminist movement, that every single president, with the exception of the one who was publicly fucking assassinated, JFK, kissed the fucking wall and worked for these motherfuckers. When you find out that our banking system all throughout the West, that colonization, that at everything. It all toys back to the same fucking agenda. Like, every time you think it's not that deep, it goes fucking deeper. There's just no end to finding out how much these people have ruined our fucking lives intentionally. The amount of effort, the amount of money, the dedication.
I was doing a late night doom scroll last night, and I came across a photo behind me. And I want y'all to take a look at it, because I almost scrolled right past it, because I just saw a sunset and someone with a rifle. But if you look closely, what do you see? See all that rubble? Guys, that's Gaza. That's Rafah. I don't think genocide is a powerful enough term. I think it's absolute annihilation. I don't know how much more, like, my heart can take of stuff like this, guys. What do those poor people do? How do you get out of this? Where do you go? You can't go anywhere. They won't let anyone out. You can't go for aid because they'll shoot you. Your options here are to start digging a hole or to swim out in the Mediterranean and hope for the best. I saw this, and everyone needs to see this.
Not going through the files, I am, and here are some of the most disturbing things I have seen. They trafficked little girls, they got them pregnant, they took their babies, they starved the babies, made them very thirsty, and then they put their in their mouths because they knew the babies would suck harder. They joke about cream cheese. They are referring to breast milk in the intestines tasting good because they ate them. Well, actually, they were probably eating their own as well. All of our children are accessible to all of these predators because their school photos were handed over to, yeah, MAGA, your kids were handed over too. They wrote emails back and forth like, got a good 10-year-old, got a good 8-year-old, virgin, just your style, you want it? But the satisfying part here, the most disturbing part, is that Pam Bondi, Donald Trump, Kash Patel, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Dan Bongino, Steve Miller, Bannon, all these people and the 1,000 FBI agents that redacted the files, they know who all these perpetrators are. They know that people, children were killed, buried, put in the water, put in fields. They know where they are. They know who the perpetrators are, and they redacted their names. And no one in America is pressing charges or doing anything, but dozens of other countries are. Who was cooking the meals? Who was the staff? Who are the people that could speak up?
Why did they have dental chairs on the island? Why do they care that much about the kids' dental health? They didn't care too much about the kids because they were taking out their teeth so they wouldn't bite. That was in the files. They weren't just doing it to the kids. They were taking out the adults' teeth as well before they shipped them out on shipping containers. These people weren't just staying on the island. No. And the people who were buying them didn't want them to have teeth. What good are their teeth to them? No, if anything, a teeth is like a hindrance. No, they were taking out their teeth before they ship them worldwide through the seas, through the ocean, on shipping containers to different continents to the predator class, because that's what we're calling them now. The level of this is something we cannot even possibly begin to comprehend, but we need to understand that it's real and we need to do something about it now.
So Pam Bondi essentially said in her hearing that if we persecute everyone on the Epstein files, that the whole system will collapse. It's like, don't threaten us with a good time, okay? That is exactly what we want.
Processing the news, including the Epstein news here in Norway, where I am now. And I just wanted to note that here, criminal proceedings are already underway, and here reporters are already making sense of parts of the story. I just wanted to note how refreshing that is and how normal that seems and how good it would be if we in the US would also be able to proceed so quickly. And also wanted to note that we in the US, as we try to make sense of the Epstein story, are probably going to have to rely on some help from other countries where investigations, criminal and journalistic, are underway.
And after all this, I can't believe there are still Trump supporters out there. Can you guys please look into these fucking Epstein files for yourself? I mean, this guy was working for the Israelis, and we're sending all our money there.
I
want you guys to watch this video from Dr. Eric NEPUTE. Please watch it until the end.
I've got some things that I need to say to all of you across the globe that I need you to hear. My name is Dr. Eric NEPUTE. I've been a practicing physician now for 20 years. The symptoms, the sicknesses, the diseases, the disorders, the problems that you all and people are dealing with, that's just the tip of the iceberg. During COVID, I was censored, suppressed, ridiculed, ostracized. Half my profession turned their back on me. The other half silently praised me. During COVID, 2019 came and things started getting weird in the Midwest. We started seeing this respiratory thing going around that we just couldn't get a hold of. Normally, it only takes us a couple weeks to figure out the flu that comes through and how to help with it and how to prevent it. And yes, I did say prevention. During COVID, we had over 11,000 patients come through all of our practices. Nobody died. Nobody went to hospital. We were using common sense protocols to help people in my doctor's office. Instead of the government saying, how did you help all those people? I was sued by the US government in 2021 for $508 billion. The Federal Trade Commission said that I violated something called the COVID Consumer Protection Act. Heard of that before? Nope. It doesn't exist. I was the only person in the history of the world that was ever sued under it. The United States government said that I was lying to people about COVID. I was using fear to profit. That's what they said. That's bullshit. That's a lie. We know that if you're low in vitamin D, you have a higher risk of all infections, including COVID. There's 120 plus studies that show and prove that. And we also talked about the benefits of vitamin D and zinc. And zinc helps block viral replication. I mean, this is common sense shit that's in Guyton's physiology textbook that I, as a doctor, and every other doctor should have learned. And man, we were given solutions. And so the government came to me, told me to sit down and shut up. And they sued me for $508 billion in 2021 under the Biden administration. And they lied about me. People say, well, Dr. NEPUTE, I know you won your lawsuit. Can't you sue them back? Nope, doesn't work that way. The United States federal government has to agree to be sued. They said I violated it 12,555 times and $40,000 per violation. And I hired a law firm. It took the United States government 6 weeks to tell my law firm what they were suing me for. How can you defend yourself when you don't know what the hell you did wrong? So I'd already spent $1.2 million in 6 weeks. That was my retainer. By the way, I'm the son of a pig farmer from Central Illinois. Everything that I've ever gotten in life, I've worked my ass off completely from the beginning. The reason why I'm upset is because today, the FDA just said that they're going to put the black box warning on the COVID vaccines because they're hurting and causing harm to people. And Dr. Robert Redfield, the former director of the CDC, is now treating people for long COVID. That's what I was treating people from in 2020. You get sued by the United States federal government, they have a 98% conviction rate because they have a method. They try to destroy you and they try to kill you. FTC has 5 chairmen or 5 board members of it. 3 of them resigned during this time. Wrote letters to President Biden saying that the head of the FTC was using her political powers to come after people, and me being one of them. And those 3 people were going to be witnesses for me. FTC and DOJ hired one doctor from Washington School of Medicine who never ever heard or saw any of the stuff that I did. By the way, this doctor never treated one COVID patient in their life. Not one. Not one. We had over 11,000. Nobody died. He didn't treat one. And we did a private investigation on this doctor, and we found out that this doctor got $9 million from Tony Fauci and from NIH and NIAID to make COVID vaccines. I spent $5.5 million defending myself. You have no idea what's happened in the last 5 years of my life. For the last 5 years of my life, I've gotten up every day in this fight to try to get my life back. I show up and smile every day and take care of my patients. I travel all over the world and helping people. We're coming up with amazing products and services and really changing people's lives. This hurts, you guys. And I see all these influencers. This is why I politely said, no, I'm not going to be in DC doing a lot of the things that are happening there because I want to help real people. $508 billion I was sued for. I still to this day can't go to a bank right now and get a fucking loan. Please bleep that out. Man, that sucks. Sorry I said that. I can't go and do the things that are necessary to run my business. The insurance companies which I don't deal with them anymore, they shut down these for all of my practices. I lost $30 million in revenue from what they did. The federal government infiltrated my business. I had 2 business partners in one of my other companies. The federal government sued me in my personal name and my business. Didn't sue my partners. Because my partners were, at the time, were very cowardly. They turned their backs on me. So when the United States government came to my company, without my agreement, my company decided to settle for $1 million. If they gave the United States government $1 million of my dollars that I worked my butt off. Elizabeth says, listening to you save my life. I'm not trying to be a baby here, but you guys have no idea what I've been through to try to do the right thing. You have no idea what my family's been through. And my wife and my kids stood by me during this whole time. It's hard, man. Like, so hard you can't even imagine. And everything, like, I know I'm up against the devil. I know. Because every time I turn around, like, you can't make up the shit that's happening. That's how I know that we're on the right side of this. I'm trying so hard to stay strong. It's tough, man. Because I'm seeing like all these other people get their lives back and I got deplatformed, demonetized, everything. They tried to take my license away. I had to fight, beg, borrow, steal, and kill and keep my license and stay in practice every day to help people and just do what's right and fight and stand. And now the government is saying, hey, you know what? We're putting a black box warning on the COVID shot. The head of the CDC at the time is now running a long haulers practice because Dr. Robert Redfield is saying that people should have never gotten the COVID shots and now they're hurting people. I never told people not to take the COVID shots. I did. I told them if you want to take it, take it. If you don't. I don't give a shit. It's your free will. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Just like with the hepatitis B thing that just came out. CDC and FDA came out and said, hey, you don't have to mandate this. We don't have to do this. And now they're all up in arms about it. They're trying to impeach Kennedy because they're saying, hey, freedom to choose. I have to start all over from scratch, man. We created this thing called BioLimitless during that time because people needed the truth and self-care is the real healthcare, man. And if people don't know how to take care of themselves, how are they going to be well? And they can't. You can't trust your doctors. You can't trust your insurance. You got to be your own advocate. And for saying that, man, the devil's been hitting me hard. Like it's been attacking me financially. He's been attacking me in my international businesses, my local businesses, and he's now attacking my family and my relationships. It's like, who, God, though he slay me, still I worship him, right? I got to be honest with you. I haven't had a chance to tell anybody this, and I don't really have a whole lot of folks to talk to about it because nobody wants to see that Superman can bleed. And I'm super upset and hurt by this. And I had to close down a bunch of my businesses during COVID, like because they shut down my ability to accept insurance and they told the insurance companies I was committing fraud. That was a lie. They lied about me. The United States government lied about me. You can't sue them back. Oh, and by the way, book I'm writing, Shit You Cannot Make Up by Dr. Eric NEPUTE. I told you guys already that the FTC, 3 of the people at FTC resigned, said they'd be witnesses for us, told the president that they're coming after people like me. Using political power, not real science, and 99.9% of the world, including the FBI, including governments around the world, are now saying, yeah, there's no question that COVID came from a lab leak. No question. The only people who are saying that it didn't are the people who know that it did and were a part of it, period. And that's facts. I'm reporting the news. Like, I had a social media page that we literally spent millions of dollars building up for 15 years. You notice how everybody's gotten their platforms back? I haven't. Through our marketing team, we were blessed to be able to get a hold of someone at Meta, at Facebook, high up that we have great connections with. And she said, hey, you know what? Normally when somebody's post gets banned or their page gets shut down, normally it goes in this little file right here. We found Dr. NEPUTE's file. There's the normal file. There's 30,000 foot, literally 30,000 foot of shit is what she said. And then there's Dr. NEPUTE's old social media page wrapped up in some red tape because the White House ordered it to be put there. And the only way that it can be taken out is if the White House orders it to be taken out. Why are they so worried about me talking to you? What is it that I'm saying to you that is so scary to the people that want to control you? Think about that for a minute.
See, you don't want to believe me. You don't want to believe what I have to say. Because I look kind of goofy and I'm fucking act retarded and I'm stoned all the time and I'm on mushrooms. But that was a real professional. And it fucking hurts my feelings that motherfucker had to lose everything because he was helping people. So I'll put on my fucking mask just to say fuck you. He's telling you what they're fucking doing. Why? Why'd they do that? Because they're fucking Satanists, dude. Read the Epstein files. I'm fucking telling you right now, if everybody read these files all at once, you all would be wearing these masks and taking care of shit. Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with you? Fuck you, Mega. Fuck you.
Got holes in my boots and a flag on my lawn that I never chose. Some suit on a screen draws lines on the land my granddad knows. They call it freedom, but the rent's due and the plant's been closed. Bullets in the headlines, names in the dirt that the wind won't blow. I'm a poor native man in the heart of America, trying to live where the ghosts drew the border. Every year another war on my front porch. Every drop of blood gets called order. I don't see invaders on the TV, I see them buying up the town like a prize. If this is peace, why the body bags? Why do empires always come in disguise? There's oil in the soil, so they send in truth dressed up like lies. Talk big about God, while the kids learn to crawl under death-side skies. They say necessary losses, like my cousin was a lion in a fire. Mothers fold the uniform, hold on to a cent for a little while. I'm a poor native man in the heart of America, trying to live where the ghosts drew the border. Every year another war on my front porch. Every drop of blood gets called order. I don't see invaders on the TV, I see them buying up the town like a prize. If this is peace, why the body bag? Why do empires always come in disguise? How many years of dying till the word enough is loud? How many broken bodies buried under stadium crowds? If you listen past the anthem, you can hear a quiet cry from the ones who never asked to be drafted just to die. I'm a poor native man in the heart of America, trying to live where the ghosts drew the border. Every year another war on my front porch. Every drop of blood gets called order. I don't see invaders on the TV, I see them buying up the town